got to put some words to this music.
I think you just did.
Welcome back, everybody. Layne Nejad, Joe Sebok, and Gavin Smith kicking it now with a man who's got $3.4 million in tourney winnings, 5 bracelets, 1 in 99, 2 in 2002, 2 in 2003 at the World Series of Poker, 1 WPT title, and 2 second places, but I'm sure he remembers the title more than anything. Mr. Layne Flack, what's going on, my man?
Not much, just here at the Bay.
Yeah.
Doing my business.
How's your tourney going so far today?
It's going good. Really good. You know, actually, every year I come to the Bay, I can't just dodge any bullets. Today I dodged a big one. I flopped aces up and faded a straight draw and 2 overcards.
Well, talk us through the hand. Give us some details. How'd it come down?
Well, I was the sucker in the hand from the get-go. I raised on the button.
That's usual.
Yeah. Every raise I've made, I've gotten either 2, 3 callers or re-raise. I'm like, you know what?
Is it? Can you? I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm gonna interrupt anyway, just cause.
So you do mean?
But you do mean to.
Can you believe? Isn't it crazy how like people they're calling everything today? I don't know what's going on. They're calling everything.
You're shooting stars, clown shoes. It's like they want the bounty.
No, but I'm saying, okay.
I mean,
you
is it a
did not just
mystery?
call me clown shoes up in here. I'm sorry.
Everyone in the Bay is antagonistic. Even me. I got here and now I'm antagonistic.
I've even been
Go ahead,
been
Layne.
called by clown shoes.
Go ahead, though. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
So it took me about 2 rounds to realize I'm the bounty.
Right.
So I'm like, so I decided just to kick up every raise. I said, if these boys are going to run me down, they're going to pay for it.
So what is it, like 5 times the blind instead of the usual 3?
100, 200 blind, I put in 3,700. No.
He's just shipping it in all in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So how'd this aces up hand come down there?
They've been running me down. So I raised on the button with ace 8 of diamonds and a guy, like 700. A guy made it 2,000. I called. Comes ace jack 8. He goes 3,000. I move him in for like 13,000. He insta-calls me with ace queen. Turn a king. So now he's got the straight draw. I can come the jack, the king, the 10, the queen. And I get up and walk away. I've never faded it.
Right.
7, impossible.
It's unbelievable. You caught some magic today.
When this story was first brought up, correct me if I'm wrong, but Layne said he got away from a hand or something like that.
Did you say that?
Didn't he say something like that? I thought you made some kind of big laid
I got away with the hand.
Got away with the hand.
Right,
okay,
right.
I'm sitting here looking at like, well, if you shipped it, where was the part where you laid it down? I'm like, how does that work?
Ali,
Yeah.
this is Layne Flack. We don't have a lot of you laid it down stories.
Yeah. And the other thing is you're trying to apply logic to a story that's being told.
I've done a lot of this. You got me, I call. I've done a lot of throw my chips into the pot and my hand hits the muck before the chips actually land.
That's good.
I like it best when you actually tell the person what his hand is.
And
then you call, and then he's got that.
You got aces and queens? I call. Aces and queens. I knew it.
I made shit.
I was on one of those spurts for like a year and a half, and I finally looked up at somebody and says, I'm really tired of proving myself right.
Yeah, well, Katie Lindsay at one point wrote in an article, she did an interview with you for PokerWorks, that if there are vices in the poker world, Layne Flack has tried them all. Not some, not most, all.
No, he's tried them all plus 3 that were
they can't be listed.
Later figured out to not be vices.
He invented.
They cannot be listed, but my closest friends do know many. I've shared in them.
Layne has actually invented a few vices no one even considered could be vices in the poker world. That's what's the most.
It used to be vice. Now it's vices. I mean, most people have a vice.
No. Why would you? You want to diversify your portfolio, sir?
Yeah, they didn't realize you can actually have more than one vice.
Exactly.
Okay, so the same interview that Katie did with you, she asked you if you'd want your daughter to ever try poker, and she's 12 years old, and apparently 2 days ago she won a dollar tournament.
Yeah, I said too late. She won like $87 on a dollar poker tournament
Get
online.
out.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
My daughter actually
She's
said
12.
She actually called me at about 11:45 at the LA Poker Classic this year, and she says, "Dad, will you help me with an essay?" I said, "Sure, honey." She asked me 4 questions. And I says, honey, you got to email those to me. Those are better questions than anybody who's interviewed me to date has asked me.
Yeah, they were hard questions. He came over and showed me the questions, and it's like, holy moly, this is going to take some time.
Now, most people know what I went through in the last couple of years, and one of the questions was, what kind of emotions does a poker player go through in a season? I was like,
oh, Jesus.
Damn, woman, who's giving me that?
You're like, what kind of emotions don't you go through?
And keep in mind, this is going to be presented to a 6th grade class. I'm like,
you're like, well, I can't say that. Okay, I got to skip over that. Okay, I can't get over that. But she's only 12 years old. I mean, so she won this tournament. Obviously, I'm assuming you're not teaching her how to play poker. She's just getting in and playing a little.
It's in the double helix.
Yeah. I mean, when she was like 6 years old, she went to she went to work with my mom. She wrote a poker book. And
Really?
you know, because she was like, my mom was at work for like 8 hours, and she sat there at the office, and she come back like with pictures and everything. This is my dad at work. This is what happens when somebody wins a hand, and this.
Yeah, she's showing like a broken mouse against the mirror, and then like a cracked LCD screen.
Some cards ripped in half.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been so long since. Like we were kids, that you forget what goes through their mind. There, I mean, they're the most truthful and honest and smartest things in the world.
Not long ago, we were doing one of these shows, and we were randomly on one of the tangents that we're known to get on, and we were talking about some of the funniest people in poker. And I don't remember if we were actually on air at the time or not. I know we were hanging out at the table, and I said Layne Flack was one of them. And when I saw Layne today, I told him about that, and I couldn't remember who the second person that I said was, and he filled in the blank with Sam Grizzle. And
Sam
I honestly,
Grizzle is who he said.
I mean, I honestly think that these are two of the funniest guys in all of poker. I mean, where do you get all your good nature from? I mean, you know, there's obviously tons of ups and downs in poker, but I don't think I've ever seen you like really, truly fuming about anything. I mean, maybe it's just me.
And that's probably why I got such good humor. I mean, I don't hate the world, so it's easy for me to you know, I got a new model: to bring light to a room and fear to a table.
Wow, you got to frame that.
No.
Yeah. That's not it?
No. We had that other one.
For the love of the game.
Yeah, for the love of the game.
I really think love of the game is lame as shit. So I'm gonna opt for the one before that.
I will say this though. I will agree
for
that
the
Layne.
Love of the game.
I will agree. Layne is definitely one of the funniest guys, but you have to kind of be on your mental A game to understand his humor. You cannot. No layman is gonna get it.
Remember, I told you earlier. I says John Hennigan came to me one day and he says, Layne, he says, I'm the only person that gets every joke that you say. And I consider Hennigan one of the most intelligent people, but I forgot. Sebok is always on the same level with me.
That's what I'm saying.
But the beauty is that there's cats like that who have really intelligent humor, and then they force it on you because they try to explain it every time if the room's silent. My favorite is when I drop a joke, there's 10 people in the room and 2 dudes laugh hard. Yeah. And 8 dudes are just in the dark. I'm like, that's strong.
My little brother used to tell such a great joke if we'd set up the crowd.
Yeah.
Now, we told everybody except the one person who probably went to the bathroom and came back that we're going to tell the joke. It's going to be the dumbest thing in the world. It makes absolutely no sense, but everybody start laughing except this guy, and see if he'll start laughing with the rest. It's like, you know, the guy was standing on an iceberg wearing a red shoe and a green shoe. The iceberg split up. He came around. When they joined together, he still had the red shoe and the green shoe. Everybody starts laughing, and the guy's like, yeah, I get it, and starts laughing.
The delay.
Oh, I love it.
Not to take us down this road, but you know what? I think a lot of people, Layne, who don't necessarily know you that well, have heard about some of the issues that you've had in the past, you know, battling some of the demons, and I'll let you talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. But one story that I don't know that everybody knows about is that Daniel Negreanu helped personally finance a trip to rehab. Is that right? For you
I mean,
at one point?
my brother got together with my ex-girlfriend, and you know, there's some things that I've done for Danny that I've helped him out greatly. And returning the favor, you know, my brother didn't know who to call, and he called Danny, and Danny said, absolutely. He says, you know, Layne's done a lot for me. I 100% return the favor. Are
you at liberty to talk about some of the things that you've done for Daniel in his life? I mean, you know, obviously is whatever you're comfortable with.
No. I mean, that's to me, personal is personal and business is business. Poker's poker. I'd rather keep it that way.
You know, I just felt like it's so easy to think that everyone in poker is super selfish and all they're focused on is making money and F everybody else. You know what I mean?
Well, you can definitely get wrapped up in it and lost in that, but I mean, I came out on the tour the same time Danny did, and me and Danny have a bond from way back, but, you know, we haven't spent a lot of time together lately. I mean, he's very busy, and
well,
I'm not.
I also think it's kind of the perception, like you're saying, that everyone's greedy and get after it. But there's so many good friends out here that people will just drop at a hat to help other people out. You know, good friends. Right. I mean, it happens more.
I mean, that's not a little deal, man, because that's putting not only you putting a lot of time and effort into something, but money as well to help a friend in need.
When it comes down to it, it's not a problem at all. The problem is if you do too much of it, you're actually wrapped into it, and you're the target. You know, people like
if you do too much helping.
Yeah. I mean, you get that help button, then you're targeted. You're getting come at it at every angle. And that's tough for people. It's like now all of a sudden you don't even want to go out in public. I stopped showing up at tournaments on time, based on the fact I got tired of people asking me to stake them. That's why I started showing up like a half hour late, because then
you can't.
You're not getting, you know, bombarded for stake me in that tournament.
How'd you get into poker, Layne? What's your like story?
When I was like 18, I moved to Montana, and I worked as a busboy in a casino. And like 6 months later, I was a night manager of the bar, casino, restaurant, and they wanted to put in a card room in there. And so I went around to the other card rooms, and, you know, so I could get an idea of what went on. From then on, it just escalated. You know, and then I went to college, and I came back and dealt on my summer breaks. And
where'd you go to school?
University of South Dakota.
South Dakota. So you're Midwestern, down home, all-American.
That's got me
All-American
through a
boy,
lot,
huh?
too. You know, I respect everybody, and that's carried me through 11 years out here.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And you're living in Vegas now?
Yeah. Vegas is great.
When you're not playing poker, what are you doing?
Hustling Gavin on the golf course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of my favorite for sure.
No, I meant stuff that just you do, not everybody.
No,
just like you.
We go out. we go out golfing a while back, and Layne's like, "Well, I haven't played for a while." He says, "You're gonna have to give me. You know, you got to be pretty fair to me. You're gonna have to give me a good spot." So I'm like, "Okay, I can do that. I can be fair." So we arranged that I'm gonna give him 5 aside, and he shoots 42 on the front 9.
I
he
beat
shoots
him straight
42.
up,
He
right?
beats me straight up, and I'm giving him 5 strokes.
Ouch.
And Gavin says, Layne, you can't be hustling me. I says, Gavin, we're playing for $500, buddy. If I'm going to put the hustle in.
It's gonna be going on when it's like 10,000
I
or
says,
something.
I just had a good round, so don't worry. You give me 5 aside again the next time.
Gavin, you gotta learn from experience. Learn from
My
experience.
God. I still. What's that in your cheek? Oh,
No,
it's a hook.
but he beat
It's
me
a
the next
hook
time.
in Gavin's cheek. That's
Now,
what that
last
is.
time he was out, I
got me.
beat him this last time out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got me. He's actually ahead of me.
Somehow Gavin doesn't seem as passionate or enthusiastic about the fact that he beat Layne. I feel like it was like Layne broke a club and then played with the butt end of the shaft for the remainder of the round or something like that because that was part of the condition. Like, I'd be fired up if it was really a
Gavin's
big deal.
jet lag. Gavin just, finished in the top 4 in Calgary in the heads up?
Yeah, just did. Flew in, didn't sleep last night. Flew in this morning because I had to be ready to go on get up at 5:15 in the morning. So stayed up all night.
So Gavin's probably lacking a little spunk right now.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
We'll fix that.
It's all right.
We'll fix that somewhere around after dinner.
Yeah.
You've gotten down quite a few interesting prop bets in your career, haven't you, Layne?
I'll tell you this, man. This might have lost me my first girlfriend. My daughter, she says to me one day, she goes, you would bet your daughter at poker, wouldn't you? I says, listen, it's not like that. I says, not unless it was on the turn and I had the nuts. I wouldn't even do it with 2 to come.
What a good guy. What a good papa, right?
And she'd be like, go, Dad.
And she understands
Double
that,
up?
right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Put me in the pot. Put me in the pot.
She's over there writing the bio, you know what I mean? She's like, oh, and then this one night he lost me. But I escaped my captors and returned to South Dakota and Montana.
He had the best hand.
How-
She's like,
what can I do?
it's the
How
He
only
had the
I-
best
It's
hand.
the first thing he taught me about poker. Don't put it in unless you have the best hand. He did the right thing.
Her memoir will be how I became a young Mexican girl.
A young Mexican slave.
That is awful. Boy, we can do it. What's that? That's your foot, Gavin. It's lodged between your teeth. It's fully in your mouth now.
I've lost some pretty sizable prop bets. But actually, I think
Well, tell us some of the
Give us a
interesting
couple.
ones. Give us a couple really interesting prop bets you've gotten down.
I lost $250,000 to Ted Forrest at a 230-pound man could run a 6-minute mile. That was redundant. The guy
Who was
locked up.
who was the guy? Just some guy?
He was actually a friend of mine. I think he
Yeah.
dumped
It's hard, man.
to Ted. I mean, I think Ted's got these powers.
It's tough. No,
But
that's tough though, man.
His leg cramped up first lap around the track.
So you're just
I was like, dude, play it up a little bit.
So you got fully trashed
I lost.
betting with
I
Ted.
can't tell that one.
You can't
Oh,
tell
you
the
can tell that
amount
one.
on that one? Come on.
No, that one I can't.
Size 6 figures plus?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. That's the ouch. Bring the pain.
And I lost. Oh, I can't tell that one.
Are you a loser or winner overall in prop bets in your career?
His good buddy Ted once gave him a tennis racket for his birthday.
This is a true story. This is wrong. This is under review.
It's his birthday, Layne's birthday. And his
He's
good friend
very
Ted
nice
comes in and gives
club.
him a beautiful tennis racket so they can go out and have prop bets playing tennis.
Ted has a tennis court at his house. He's like,
That's awful.
Ted, look what I got you for your birthday, a tennis racket. I said, that's great, Ted. Let's go play. Out we go. He says, all right, Layne, here's what we're going to do after he sees that. I have no concept of tennis. I'm going to play left-handed with a broken racket. 50,000.
Oh God.
I said,
Ted's playing left-handed with a broken
Ted,
racket
but
for a
Ted
50
played
pack.
for Syracuse.
Well, hold on. Where was it broken? In the strings? Was it broken in
A
the?
few of the strings were broken. But
Okay.
he's playing left-handed. I figured, the guy's going to lob it. I'm going to smack him in the head.
Oh man.
But don't worry. And I have him down. I'm actually beating him. Now he pulls this, and Ted always has an out, right? He pulls this out of his bag.
The two-handed
The backhand,
backhand.
two-handed backhand. He says, no, it's still left hand, and just starts smoking. I says, Ted, no way.
That's terrible.
Yeah. He says, Layne, I'm playing left-handed.
I think
And
that's
then-
technicalities.
That's what I agree.
Because
that'd
I
be under
interpret
protest.
I interpret left-handed to mean you cannot touch the racket with your right hand at all.
Right, and I try to take it to
At any
arbitration, but
I agree.
he who has the
Yeah.
gold has the save, right?
Yeah.
At this
In that
point,
case.
he was staking me, and I lived at his house. I was like, all right, Ted,
Yeah, what can I say?
Nice game.
It was twisted.
Yeah.
What you should have done, though, is you should have bought him a bowling ball for his birthday, from what I understand.
Oh, no, even better than that. He beat me out of 100,000 at the bowling alley one night, too.
What? Gav, Joe, what do you think Layne's high score is?
I never
on the
bowled
bowling
with Layne.
alley?
I know what it is.
You know what it is.
Ted Force is
The guy's
not-
bowled a 300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Ted were pretty messed up when I were in Santa Monica and we go to this bowling alley. And I bet him that he could not bowl a 100 game.
Yeah.
Going into like the 7th
How
grade,
messed up was he?
we were pretty messed up.
To bowl 100, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
At
Don't
the
you
end of
just
the
have to
seventh-
not hit the gutter?
At the end of the 7th frame, his score was 52. He had to mark.
Oh,
and
wow.
He had to mark in the 8th, 9th, and 10th to beat me, and he did it. I don't know how.
That's sick.
He put up a 52 in the first 7th frame.
And had to mark in all 3 frames.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say you shouldn't make prop bets with Teddy anymore.
Yeah, I'm done.
It seems like it's not working
There's
out.
a prop
you know
bet.
what I mean?
Hey, wait, I've got another prop bet. I'll bet you make another bet with Ted.
I'll take that bet for sure. I know that you.
You just
definitely
said
will.
you just
Say
said you're
will.
done, but I say you're not.
I wish we had webcasts.
I mean,
like video stream.
looks like I just ate a shit sandwich.
Oh, man.
I mean, if you look on the website, it says right there, Layne conquering his vices. I mean, there's just no way I'm not going to prop that.
oh,
Because
God.
we may be doing a TV show or something, and, the ringer
Yep.
comes in, Ted, and I have to
And you're
fire.
screwed.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, enough's enough.
You just can't. It's like moth to a flame,
Take
Flack.
off the shackles and put the whip away. Oh, sorry, that was
Pain.
personal.
Sadomasochism.
That's another vice for
flashback
another day.
Uh-oh. That's
Oh
painful.
man. Oh man.
Like, one of the other things, I mean, we are poker world. We should probably talk a little bit about poker, even though
I
this guy's got
guess.
such great
All right.
non-poker related stories. Is that you were one of the people early on, much like I would say Gus, who earned a reputation as being a wild man, who was fearless, who was playing, all parts of the deck, almost recklessly, people used to think. And now you say that, a lot of people have begun playing like you. And so what have you done to evolve? What have you done to, keep yourself successful since your great run in 99 to 04, that span? Like, how have you reinvented yourself? What are you doing differently, if anything?
Well, back then, they got to watch you on TV. I always say it's the only sport in the world where we teach them how to beat us. So I quit going on TV.
On purpose.
Now they don't know how to beat me.
I started playing like Sebok and going out 7th.
Exactly.
No, actually, it's just I've used the table image stats more. I mean, obviously, I have a lot of gears and a lot of zones. Once you bring those together, you can do almost anything. So it doesn't matter what you have. You can look like a genius or an idiot. You eliminate the idiot part by once you've shown you got to go back and start showing them big hands again, and then you can go back to your megalomaniac type style.
Right.
But is it just that simple? I mean, because I know that for Gus, there's some people that have it so singed in their minds that he is a wild man that it doesn't matter how many times he rolls over a solid pre-flop, Group A type of hand, Group 1 type of hand, they're still like, no, he's got to be out of line now.
Jennifer Herman actually said to me a long time ago, she says, Layne, listen. She says, tighten up. I says, well, this image works for me. She says, trust me, it'll take them 3 years of beating it into their head, showing them that that's that little change.
It's unbelievable how long a reputation lasts in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Because they want to believe. Absolutely. Most people want to believe the worse than the best. They can't talk.
They'll talk themselves into it.
They'll talk themselves into it before they'll
Absolutely.
talk themselves out of it.
Absolutely.
It's just human nature.
I agree.
So today in the tournament, did you see a lot of that? You were saying you're getting called a ton or whatever. You think that's table image or just people looking at Layne Flack and thinking he's still the wild
Well,
man?
I lost a few hands early, so I was down like 13,000, 14,000. And then I was getting called a lot because they all had me covered. They could actually make the 5,000 on the bounty. But once I doubled up and was up to 27,000, 30,000, they weren't calling me anymore because they could go broke and they couldn't bust me. So that advantage got taken away, that 5,000. I mean, it's unbelievable. First was going to be 1.2, 3 million, and they just want that 5,000.
They don't care, man. They do not care.
Tony Cousineau, one of the tightest players in the world, just in case I'm ruining his image, too bad.
Wait a sec. How is he one of the tightest?
Yeah, he may be.
Well, Chainsaw's battling.
It's a close one, too.
Yeah, I don't think he's one of the tightest. I just think he's the tightest.
But 2 years ago here at the Bay, he was at my table, and he could not stop calling or raising every time I was in hand. He said, Layne, this has never came over me. I don't know what to do. He just kept going. He said, I want that 5,000.
The synapses were misfiring. It would stop.
My God.
It's crazy the
What's
things
the
people
buy-in?
do.
It's a 10K
Did he
buy-in?
get it?
10K
Yeah,
buy-in.
huh?
And they want the
No,
5K.
I busted him.
They want the 5K, and they're willing to do so many crazy things. So I guess maybe most of the players or the local players just say, well, I can't win this tournament.
Or they satellite it in,
happen.
or they did one
Right.
so that they can lock
So
up
like, let me
5,000.
get
It's
the
like a
5K.
win. Yeah.
Because they're just decided I can't win it or I
If
can't
they
cash
can
or
win the
whatever.
pot and the 5,000, it's
Yeah.
like
It's huge.
it's like a
Christmas and Easter
an
all in
exacta.
one. Yeah.
They're a horse race. It's like, dude, Quinnell, I don't care. I'll win the 5 and the pot, or the pot and 5.
You got to exacta box it, depending on what order it comes in, right? Well, listen, Layne, best of luck to you moving ahead. We're going to let you go on and grab some grub. And, yeah, let's hope people keep gunning for that 5,000 and slowly figuring out that you're no longer the wild animal.
No, I'm still.
Still the wild man. All right, guys.
Still
Stay
high,
with us.
Gavin.
We'll
Thanks,
be back
guys.
with more
Thanks,
Poker
baby.
Road Radio in a bit.